guys, welcome back to the channel.
This is an on-the-trail review going up a steep hill in two-wheel drive. This machine, Can-Am, just eats it with its low end torque. On the trail review of my 2019 Can-Am Outlander XDP 1000R, and I wanted to do the review on the trail. The machine has over 500 miles, I think close to 570 miles. It has 70 hours on it. It has an oil change. And the diff fluids have been changed on it. It may be due for another oil change. So I wanted to do a review of this machine, of my opinion, any issues with it. And I thought I'll do it on one of my favorite trails, Tilden Hill, our club trail in Harcourt, New York. I'll give you a couple different camera views. Dedicated Polaris guy. I don't know, I had 7-8 Polarises, and at the time I had the Polaris Razor S, a 1000 XP ATV, and a 570 Sportsman XP ATV, and really afraid to make the move to Can-Am because of people's complaints over warranty, service, issues with the clutch, many complaints on overheating, and really, although I loved when I rode a Can-Am, the low end, really hesitant because I didn't want to buy problems and really concerned about all these issues. But the Defender XMR was a machine for me. I bought it, and that totally changed my confidence level in Can-Am products. I can tell you, got a large group with us today. I'm down a steep descent. So the Defender XMR, which I purchased, hope you've seen those videos, just changed my mind. Dripped of quality. The engine performance, only 72 horsepower, which is pretty common for a utility vehicle, actually higher than most. The engine, that V-Twin 1000 engine, was awesome. Never overheating issues, and the radiator was covered in mud at times. I think I broke a sway bar mount, which was replaced under warranty. That may have been my fault, driving it on and off the steps of my patio for one of my videos during the winter on the machine. You should watch that playbook to buying a side-by-side. I think it's a good time spent. And we'll gun that. Let me hit this thing hard. I can't hold. Here's a problem. I can't hold the front end down on this thing. I'm in normal mode. I still can't hold the front end down on it. Okay, I'm not the best of riders. I'm in two-wheel drive high normal mode. So I had test rode the machine I was on in the fall of 2018. Love this steep hill. I'll wait for it to clear. I test rode this machine in the fall of 2018, fearful of buying it. I bought the Can-Am Defender in January of 2018, loved it. And then in the spring, I traded my Polaris 570 XP in for this machine. Let's rip up the hill. I figured I'll try this machine. Man, show me this. This is a very steep hill, but this thing will just eat it. What a rip. Still lifting the front end. Love it. Well, I wanted to go last. So I traded the 570 and I wanted to test, when I was driving this machine, would I ever go back to my Polaris 1000 Premium, Premium. It was, I think, a 2018, 2019. It was my second 1000 Polaris Sportsman. Would I ever ride it again after getting this machine? And guys, the answer to that question, it was a beautiful machine, was no. When I purchased this Can-Am XTP 1000R, when I purchased it, I never rode on the trail. The Sportsman 1000 Limited, never again. Never again. That's not saying it's a bad machine. That's not saying that you should, if you have one, get rid of it. My friend Pat, they're beautiful machines. That doesn't mean that at all. I preferred riding the Can-Am. Going down a steep descent. I preferred riding the Can-Am. Really, it should be sitting back on my seat. The low, for where I ride, where we ride, the low end torque of the engine, the big V twin, probably the closest I'll come to a Harley engine. The torque of the big V twin and the early engagement, low RPM of engagement of the clutch, the stock clutch, sold me. It's just a torque master on the trails we ride. Just a torque master. And after I rode it on the trail, I never touched the Sportsman 1000 Limited. I never got on it again. A beautiful machine. I don't know if I had 20 hours on it, but I was just all over the Can-Am. This machine, I just wanted to ride it. It maybe even with the Fox shocks, I don't think it rides as well as the Polaris, which had standard shocks. Did not have an adjustable shock. I don't think it rides as well. And we're going back in time now. I don't think it rides as well as a Sportsman. Sportsman has the claim to the best ride, and including my 570, the 1000, Sportsman, even base model Sportsman, they ride pretty doggone well. The Can-Ams do not ride terribly, but I would give the nod to the Sportsman on the ride. What I liked about the machine, why I like to ride it, is the low end torque, early engagement of the clutch. The sound, it is quieter than the Sportsman 1000. And don't get me wrong, if you want a tough sounding ATV, the 1000 Sportsman just is like driving a Harley on the trail. The sound out of that stock pipe, why would you change it? It's just an awesome sound out of it. There is no reason to change it. The Can-Ams are quieter, and my ears would hurt after riding the Sportsman on the trail, hitting the throttle. The Can-Ams are quieter, and that's enjoyable for me on the trail, having a quiet machine. It's enjoyable for the other people I ride with, which are my age. They don't want to listen to the screaming muffler. And it's good for our trail system to keep our trails. Our RC club lost their field. One of the reasons was noise from planes, remote control planes, propeller noise on electrics, high-speed propeller noise, and two-stroke gas, low engine planes. So I'm very sensitive to off-road equipment, sound they produce, and the Can-Am was noticeably quieter, but no loss in power. No loss. It actually, I think it's fast. Well, it's been proven on some channels to be faster on the trail than a Polaris. And I would have never thought that. So I made the move to Can-Am with this machine. Liked it so much, I traded the Sportsman, a little off camber uphill. I traded the Sportsman 1000 Limited in on a 1000R Outlander XTP Max. I love that machine. Totally love that machine. Widened this machine by over an inch, I believe. Actually, maybe 2 inches. Where it was actually a little wider than the Sportsman big bore machine. They also added a front sway bar, made the machine more stable, being wider, had a front sway bar. Don't think it had a front sway bar. Added some power to the engine. I think it has 1 or 2 horsepower more than the Sportsman, which I don't think is a big deal. And you can hear it now. In 500 miles, over 500 miles, 540 miles, knock on wood, this machine has not been back to the dealer once for any issue whatsoever. None. Zero. No problems. I cannot say that about any 3 of my Polaris ATVs, of my 2 big bore Polaris ATVs. Not one issue. With this machine to take it back to the dealer. Let's see if I can get over this hump. A little off camber. Spin the tires. Oh, she spun them, but that's all right. Part of learning to ride. No issues at all with this machine in 540 miles. None. That's really exceptional. All my bushings are in great shape. I grease them, if not every second or third ride, at least every 4 rides. So the bushings are in good shape. You got to grease the rear drive shaft, universal joints on the drive shaft. No issues with the machine whatsoever. That's a huge positive. Huge positive. Power-wise, 10. I don't see why you would want more power on an ATV. I've told you before, I'm a good rider. I'm not the best rider in the group. I'm the only one that rides a big bore machine. If I floor this machine on the trail, I'd end up in the woods. It's even when I have some room in a field to give it some gas. It's just so much power. Just so much power. You don't need all that power, but I like having it. So no issues with power of the machine. Looks, I think it's important to buy a machine that you like the looks of it. If you like the looks of a Polaris over a Can-Am, and that's important to you, you could buy the Polaris. Buy the Polaris. I have to like the looks of my machine. Here's a steep hill once again. Ooh, there's a lot. Let's run up this hill. Caught up to the guy in front of me, give him some room. I think it's important you buy a machine that you like the looks of it, because most of the time the machine is sitting in your garage and you're staring at it. I'm gonna stop talking. Let's rip up this hill, steep hill. Off camber at the base. Okay, very steep here. Spinning the rear tires. Very, very steep. Oh man, she's spinning the rear tires. Dancing, love it. Not so fun on an Outlander. It's messy, and the are off and oil runs all over the frame, and oil drain runs through the frame, and the transmission oil, tough to get the plug back in. I had to take the brake lever off, but I think to put the transmission drain plug back in, and that's not easy to do with the spring and the linkage on the brake, foot brake lever. So that's my negatives on an Outlander is transmission and oil change are not as easy to do as they are on a Sportsman, a Polaris product. Those are my I don't want to say they're huge negatives, but they're something to think about. Just it's not a quick 1 hour oil change on an Outlander, and it's messy. The trade-off is you have a fantastic, listen to my engine, Germany, Austria. It's a beautiful engine, precision built, and it's a monster. Got to go around this branch. I would normally remove that, but these guys have been waiting for me all day. The engine is where it's at on these Outlanders. These V-twin engines are just so smooth, such torque masters, and that's where it's at for me. So another negative, brought up the fluid changes, is I cannot reset after the oil change the service maintenance requirement that flashes across my instrument cluster, which indicates you need to change your oil. I cannot reset that. I've looked online how to reset it. I've done what they said to do. Turn this on, turn that off every 2 seconds. I've done that. That has not been able to work. The dealers has to bring it in and let them reset it. I'm in two-wheel drive going through a mud hole that don't saw that Grizzly spun its tires to go through. No issue whatsoever. Two-wheel drive. So that's a something that's a little bothersome. This is another steep incline. Let's rip up this. Two-wheel drive. Oh, I love it. Oh, she's spinning the rear tires. She is spinning the rear tires. Love it. Love it. Two-wheel drive, not four-wheel drive. This is a little jog, and I think it continues uphill. I'll let the dust clear. Oh man, the front end is bouncing up. She's leaping up. This might be another jog uphill. Man, I love this hill. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. So, the Sportsman, I wouldn't want to live on the difference between a Sportsman big bore and a Can-Am big bore. It's slim, and for some people will go either way. Not a huge difference at all in the machines. You go either. There's no bad choice, in my opinion. No bad choice. You might like the sound of the Sportsman better than an Outlander, and that's okay. You might like Polaris has more features. My instrument clusters on both my Polaris 570 and 1000 had Bluetooth. I think it would notify me when I got a phone call come across my screen. It would also, I think if I got a text that came across my screen, not sure on the text, but definitely phone calls. So, and I believe Sportsman was the first with the electronic throttle control, which I am a huge fan of. A huge fan of electronic throttle control, which is here. You can switch to econo mode or training mode, to normal mode, to performance mode. So I like that you can detune the machine for yourself if you're tired or doing technical riding, normal riding, or if you want a kick-ass ride in sport mode, which is almost, to me, uncontrollable. Power comes on so quickly. People ask me, what would you buy, a Can-Am or a Polaris big bore machine? Go out and ride them. go out and ride them. Ask your dealer if you can ride them even around the parking lot and get the feel for them. My experience was that Can-Am has more lower end torque, get up to go, which is ideal. Look at the trails I'm riding on, where the Polaris builds power more mid-range and high RPM, and does not have as much low-end torque. I think Polaris corrected that on my limited model. I think my second one was a limited, not a premium. They did correct that, trying to give it more low-end torque. I think they went in the right direction. They did some work on the clutch. So there's not much of a difference. Get out and ride them. Ask your service manager questions about the machine. You know, which one they think is a better quality machine, has better components. They might tell you Polaris, they might tell you Can-Am. So ask your dealer. I'm not going to do a discussion on, I get a lot of questions why I don't have the Sportsman 570. That is going to be in another video, and I'm going to maybe call it 570 discussion. I'll give you, I have to comment and tell you what I tell people who watch that video and ask me questions and are worried they shouldn't have bought a Polaris 570. The most fun, I think, probably the most fun I had on any ride was on that Sportsman 570, because it is just so light. Throttle on this. Just spinning the tires. Just spinning. Look at this. Certainly you can hike, ride a horse, bicycle. Look at this view. God, beautiful. All right, let's hammer this thing down. That was in normal mode. Almost full throttle, wasn't full throttle. And she was dancing the whole way. Okay, we're gonna stop up here for a break. I'm gonna shut these cameras down. Again, all of you, I hope if you like the videos, you subscribe, hit the like button, share with a friend, and as always, Marauders, welcome back to the channel. I'm in my favorite spot at Tilden Hill, and we go into a section of forest that is pine trees, and it is just beautiful. And I've said in previous videos, it's almost like you're in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And I'm gonna stop the video, or stop the machine, and I'm gonna shut it off and just give you a glimpse of what this looks like. I'm gonna put it in park. Kill the engine. I'll lay on my back and look up. Of course, the fan's got to run. I love it. I love it. I may do some videos just where I'm going to go to trails by myself and I can stop in beautiful areas like this and just look around. So let's wake up the computer. I'll show you that engine maintenance. Let's ride Marauder, and then after that, maintenance required. That's the oil change signal I can't get rid of. My group's waiting for me. So if you're interested in a big bore ATV, I think there's only two, Polaris and Can-Am. Take your time, look at both machines carefully. I always think that you're better off getting packaged. Look at both machines carefully, ask your dealer, talk to your service department, ride them if you can. Ask people about them that own them, research it online. I might not have this ATV, this XTP for Outlander for long. I'm debating it. I don't hang on to my machines usually more than 2 years. This one's coming up on 2 years. I probably have the most miles on it that I've ever had on an ATV. I did a lot of riding last year, put 25 hours on all 3 of my machines. I think one of my machines, this machine, 50 hours. So I might not have this machine. I am going to look at Polaris very carefully, to viewers, especially the Polaris 570. I'm going to take a hard look at the Polaris 570. Really, they've redesigned it this year. My son was not upset, but he really liked that machine. And my daughter rode it around our property and at school. She liked it. I'm going to look at Polaris Can-Am 570 1000 Polarises. They're 54-inch wide, 52-inch wide versions. And I'm also going to look at the Can-Am Outlander Renegade. I'm going to take a look. That's probably it on the Can-Am side. I'll look at this machine again to see what they've changed. I'm seriously considering a sports side-by-side. Seriously considering going back to a performance sports side-by-side. This may be one of my last rides on this Can-Am Outlander XTP 1000R. Maybe one of my last rides. And it will be a memorable ride. It is a sweet machine. I'd highly, highly recommend this model with the adjustable Fox shocks. Highly recommend it. One last thing but I'll cover on the Outlander is storage. There's no doubt in my mind storage on the Sportsman. You have more storage on the Sportsman. The storage under the front rack is a great idea. A Sportsman and a Polaris, and it is very usable space. Plus you have storage in the rear. Alright, I'm going to clean both my camera lenses. And we're going up the Dry Creek bed. I'm going to go in all-wheel drive. And I'm going to go in low. And let's see if I can get up this the first pass. Hopefully my batteries will last. So I've struggled in one spot on this trail. I don't know if it's my rider poor decisions on my riding ability, not picking the best line, but we'll see how I do this time. You guys haven't seen that video. So this is a dry spring bed that we have a trail in it and then on the side of it. And it's kind of fun to go up. Kind of fun to go up. It's a little challenging, a little technical riding. Move your weight around on your seat. Oh, we got over it. That's a tough spot. Oh boy, you hit that hard. Just walks over. See how see those other machines bounce off it? On certain conditions, this machine, this XTP Outlander just walked over that. Just walked over it. This is a tough one. We piled rocks. Let's see if I do any better. Oh man, I love it. Now we didn't make it easier. We piled rocks in front of it to make it a little easier. So, okay, we cheated a little bit on that. It wasn't worth breaking the front A-arm or steering linkage on it. Kids are doing really well. So is their father. love these. I love the Grizzly. I don't know if I'll ever buy one, but I love looking on them. Probably going to be a long video, huh? I hope you watch it. Concerns over the front diff on the Can-Ams. Fiscal lock. I find it to be fine, and I ride in some diverse riding trails, as you can see. Just wait for it to build up pressure, oiled pressure, with the spinning wheel on the front diff of the Visco lock, and it will catch, and you just need a little power to spin the wheels, and you'll learn to like it a lot. This is where we reverse. Great trail. Great trail. Sam, Mikey, best guys in the world to ride with. And Dave, Don, Steve has joined our group now, and Andy, good guys. Josh, Sam has a son Josh, who is a character, is a good guy. Good people. Hope you ride with people as nice as I do. So, we missed Don. Hello, Don. He's not with us anymore, but Don was a good character to ride with, good guy. So for this section, I went into low. I'll turn the all-wheel drive off. I'll put it in high. Dave told me an interesting thing on this ride. I'm going last behind eight other machines, 9 other machines. He said, Pete, the bumpers, the yellow bumpers against the black on this machine stand out so well in the woods that they can see me coming from a long distance where I can't even see them, and they know I'm okay, and then they start riding again. That's part of the looks of the machine. I used to get comments from people who bought a machine because it was priced right. They just can't stand the looks of it. Man, if you can, and I know money is critical, even with me, believe me, you know, I don't have money to throw around. I try to make wise decisions on these choices, and they're wants, they're not needs, they're not necessary. This is sometimes this turns scummy green. I'll go up this little steep hill here. Mikey just wheeled up. I don't know if I got it on camera. But like your machine that you're getting, I think that's very important. A little off camber. I hope it will go up with two-wheel drive. I'll get on the front of my machine. Oh, she came up. Oh, man. Two-wheel drive high. Oh, boy. Oh, sometimes I think I'm the world's worst rider. Yeah, she lifted. Mikey did a better job controlling his. I think that's the finish on the review. Both two big block Can-Am and Polaris are great machines. Take your time, do your research, like what you're buying. I forgot to turn my lights on. And ride them if you can. There's no bad choice. It's your style of riding, the trail you ride on. And let's go through this. I'll look at the trips. I never set them. 71 hours. Clock's wrong. 545 hours. So, or 545 miles. So take your time and make sure that's what you want. I will tell you, on a big board machine, where I ride, I cannot mash the throttle like I can on a 570. If I mash the throttle, especially on the Can-Am, the front end goes right, the rear end goes left. I don't know if that's the Visco lock, probably. Regardless, they're just not safe to mash the throttle on a big bore machine on the trails I ride. They're just too tight and you'll end up in trouble. Also, going up some of the hills, you have to use throttle management or you'll flip this machine over backwards. Easy, 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 easy. We've had guys almost do it on their Hondas. We've had Suzuki's roll down hills. So, the rider, you have to have a brain and use it to manage your ride on your machine. And be familiar with it. They all have their positives and negatives. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention. In the mud, I think these guys went right. In the mud, I think the Can-Am is, even though on paper it has less ground clearance than a Polaris 1000, I think in reality it has, I think the Polaris is sag a little bit once the rider gets on it, and they have more things dragging through the mud. I think the Can-Am trailing swing arm on the rear suspension is less drag in the mud, and they're a stiffer, it's a truer ground clearance. I did preload these to get a true 11 inches of ground clearance out of this machine. Look, I gotta show you this. My goggles have dust on it. Man, why I ride. Now I get the sky in my backyard, but this is just beautiful. So mud riding, I'd probably steer you towards a Can-Am, an Outlander. I do think they're better in the mud. I found with this machine, and this machine bottoms out far less than any of my Sportsman ATV 570 or both my 1000s. Again, I'm not telling you to buy this over that, but if you're doing a lot of mud riding, take a hard look at a Can-Am. Listen, 500 miles, and I know that's not a lot to some of you, it's a lot to me. Listen to this thing purr. Hear that clutch, that belt rumble. Love it. I'm not going to put it in low because I just want you to enjoy the scenery of this trail. And we're going to run silent and run deep. I'm not going to say a word. I just want you to enjoy the woods. not say anything. To enjoy this side of the ravine. Gift I can give you today. Look at it down there. It's so dark in here. It's like it's night. Look at that down there. My wife was playing. Do this, so let's walk her up. It's very steep and bumpy. Let's stand up and walk her up. Front end and lift. Wow, look at that tree root. Have to give this up. Might have to give up ATV riding. My back is in very good shape as of late, but my knee problems have returned. 6 months ago I had 2 cortisone shots in each knee, and held me over. My last work in my yard, cutting down the trees, may have done me in hours and hours and hours, gallons and gallons of chainsaw fuel. Might have done my knees in. So, Marauders, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. If you consider subscribing to my channel, give me a thumbs up, share with a friend. Please always comment. I always like to hear from you. And thank you for watching. I'm fortunate and lucky to have your support on my channel. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to go silent but deep, and I'm going to run this section fast, a little quicker. Let's go. Actually gained speed going up these hills. I can't hold her on the trail. Catching up to Mikey, give Mikey some room. Too much power. Too much power. Too fast. the dust to clear. Wait for the dust to clear, we'll stack them up. Okay, let's head it up this hill. Love it! Oh, she's steep! Oh, man! Two-wheel drive. This machine kicks butt in two-wheel drive on dry conditions, man. This is another little hill. No. Awesome. Just awesome.
Marauders, thank you for returning to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. And I hope to see you on the trail. Thank you and God bless.